For businesses around the world, today isn't a restart, it's a rethink. That's why they're partnering with IBM to change how they work. From supply chains to customer service, let's put smart to work. Visit ibm.com/smart to learn more.
You're looking for something. A new way, a new understanding, a connection, some comfort. You've got questions, and Light on Living puts the spotlight on all the answers so you can shine. Lift and lighten the load of life's challenges and learn simple and easy ways to live a healthy, happy life. You'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you. You're invited to hear new, see different, and feel more as Lisa shines the light on living.
Hello everyone, welcome to Light on Living, another episode of fun and reasons to giving you reasons to feel better. And I feel like I haven't said that for the last couple shows, probably because I haven't, because I'm hoping that everybody is just doing that, but really, it is about giving you reasons to feel better. And when we feel better, we allow that joy to just kind of shine from us, pour into us, and shine out of us. And so that's why I just love when you guys get to join us, join me every Monday with all my special guests. And today is really, I'm just doing the perfect little setup here because today you were invited to join us on our conscious playground. And I really like what I wrote here in the description, and I kind of fell in love with it. So I want to share this with you. But this is a place where a field of joy is the grass, and the sky of ideas are clouds, and awesome answers, I would say, answers to solutions are toys. And actually, I was thinking about the equipment on the playground too. And today, you know what? Our conscious playground was kind of like created like a term, it's a place that I recognized, and I recognized with somebody. And that special somebody's here today to join us. His name is Tomás Garza. And I know you're thinking, that name sounds familiar. And so the reason why it sounds familiar is not only is he has a show, Decide to Transform here on Times Radio. You can catch all the amazing replays there. But he's one of my dear friends and business partners and an author, healer, meditation instructor. And I'm going to go on a little bit about him, but I'm just going to invite him on to join me here first. So hello and good afternoon, Tomás.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, you are. You know what? I can feel like this little yippee, let's go play day today. Let's see. And I want to share just a bit about you with everybody listening so they can hear. Okay, they all know that Lisa, is happy that he's here, but why do I need to know? So everybody, Tomás Garza is an author, as I mentioned, a healer, a meditation instructor, and host of the internet radio show Decide to Transform. So as a podcast producer with his friend and business partner, moi, Lisa Berry, and we call that Podcast Prosperity. In the past, Tomás has run a private meditation practice and served as an adjunct professor of conflict resolution at Portland State University. More background, we learned that Tomás lived in, he told me how to say this. You're going to have to help me. Oliastai. That's just fun. Oliastai, Mongolia, as a member of the U.S. Peace Corps. And today we can find him sitting on the board of directors of the Academy of Universal Self-Mastery, as well as one of the founding faculty members there too. He and his wife, Cindy Garza, now live in Phoenix, like a few months in Arizona here, after spending the past 2 years traveling in Mexico. Talk about a conscious playground, Tomás. I mean, it sounds like you live in one.
Yes, happily. We definitely do.
Actually, let me just start because your introduction does lead to this. Okay, so if I'm scooching back here, I find it so interesting that you're going from, mediation, like helping with people like go through tough times and involving other people, to a world now of healer and meditation teacher. I have to ask this. Are there any similarities in those roles?
Yes, there are. There are similarities in those roles from the standpoint of how I approach it. Outwardly, they look very different. The mediation, for those listening, that I did was mostly family related. In other words, mostly divorces, custody disputes, parenting time disputes, some high stakes financial disputes. A situation where people weren't at their best, but a mediator does, in essence, the same thing as a healer, as a meditation instructor, in a completely different outward context, in that the mediator comes to the table and literally holds space for the parties, literally holds and creates and safeguards a place where a dialogue can occur. So in that sense, it's no different than being a healer. It's no different than being a meditation instructor or helping people develop a podcast, for example. It's a holding of space, but the outward circumstances were really different.
Mm-hmm. I love that you said where a dialogue can occur. In keeping in the theme here, that is so interesting. I'm loving that right now, because if a dialogue can't occur, even using the experience we have with people in those disputes, which are huge, if a dialogue can't occur, what can happen?
Well, if there's no communication, if there's no dialogue, then what you get is a negative, or at best a neutral exchange of energy. There's no forward movement. There's no positivity if there's no dialogue going on.
Like, that is just, I feel like, I don't even know, at the very beginning of the show here, I feel like you just gave a global world answer. It's like a solution. So here's where I'm going with this. We kind of go into our conscious playground, and we're using playing as our dialogue. That's our dialogue. So I'm kind of feeling like when people can have a dialogue, they are playing. Do you feel that kind of makes sense?
Yes. The word that jumps immediately to mind when I think of this is a fluidity. This kind of flow. It's a flow. It's in conflict. Energy can be seen. You can easily view it this way, as stuck, as immobile, and maybe yearning to break free and to move somehow. But in play, it is in motion, and there's an inherent freedom that goes with that. That is, well, it's joyful, it's fun. It's that fluidity that really helps generate creativity and solutions.
Yes. Oh, I can feel that. That's right. And so also, if you think, I'm thinking back to a time where, or others have shared, like, if I could just talk to them, if I could just have they're looking for answers. So, just talk to them. Is it like what a lot of us say, or like, I need to talk to somebody, or I need to hear what they have to say is. And when we don't go to the conscious playground, we can't have that dialogue. I would love for you to share, if you were to describe what the conscious playground feels like or is to you, what does it look like? What happens when you go to the conscious playground?
Oh. How long is the radio show? It's fun. That's the number one word that comes to mind. When I go there, it's freedom, and it's an expression that a lot of people don't always allow for themselves. And it's creativity, it's joy, it's letting our guard down. That's the way I experience fun and play in our conscious playground, is letting my guard down, and you could see this as letting expectations go about how life should be, about how one should behave in a certain circumstance, just because that's what people do. That's what's expected of us, for example. And for those, and I don't know if we're going to talk about this later in the show, but I'm going to bring it up right now. Our conscious playground, guys, for those listening, is a term that Lisa and I came up with several months ago when we were really having a wonderful creative brainstorming session about ways that we were going to work together. So That was fun. That was a fun
It
call.
was
I
fun.
remember that very well.
Well, actually, now that you say that too, because we at first were, I can't remember the term. I was going back to some pictures, but about a vision board, and I think as I love that you said letting your guard down, because when we create a vision board, you can put anything on there. There's no limits. You can say, yeah, I want this Ferrari. Yeah, I want this $1 trillion or whatever. Like, you're right. I love that. There's this guard that's let down, and you can't go wrong. You can't play the wrong way. It's no expectation. The expectation is that anything's possible.
Yes. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, I think that one of the keys to play of any kind is that there are no limitations. And people say the sky's the limit. Well, it's not even that. There aren't any limitations at all.
Right, right. And actually, even when we decided to have fun playing whilst looking at like what could it look like working together. And I think that's so awesome when other people can use it for such like that really kind of started as a serious thing. Like, okay, how are we going to work together? What can we do? What are your strengths? What are mine? And we ended up just playing. And what are the benefits do you think about when somebody can lighten up, even on a serious, like even about healing? Like if you were to have somebody come to you and say, I'm sick, I have this disease, like, would you be so bold to say, okay, well, let's go to the playground and see what happens?
Well, it wouldn't hurt to go to the playground and see what happens, because one of the things that I've noticed in my life is that when I'm in a sense of fun and play, it's a higher vibration. It's a higher, it's quite literally a higher vibrational frequency than at other times, and it feels better. Right? It feels
There you go.
better. Yeah, it just, and when it feels better when you're in that space of play, of just allowing yourself to experiment and throw whatever it is out there without judgment, ideas, whatever it is. When you're in that space, you're vibrating higher, and what it does, in my experience, is interrupt patterns, old patterns. It breaks or interrupts them. And if you're feeling, for example, stuck or depressed or anxious, frustrated, to allow yourself permission to go to a place where you felt great and were playing, even if you're just remembering that, remembering a time as a child or something like that, even if you're just remembering it, just to allow yourself that little break can make a huge, huge energetic difference.
I like that. So you don't even have to be so, capable or able to play right away. You might just have to observe, like by remembering or watching somebody else or reading a story. I think hey, do you think
hmm
that's why a lot of people watch movies? Like they're observing, like playing?
It can be. Yeah, it can be one of the reasons why people do that. And yeah, it's more sometimes than just mindless entertainment. It's part of the reason why we as human beings are all so drawn to a good story, is that there are things that we
Yeah.
can connect to in that story and relate to and learn. Really, a good story is a great learning experience.
Yeah, that is so fun. Now, okay, so this is exciting because you said that about a story. Now, we mentioned, of course, that you're a teacher of meditation and you lead people through these. And I had promised people on the Facebook Live earlier, on Home Times Magazine page there,
Uh-huh.
that we would have you lead them into meditation to enter the playground. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold off just on that, just till after
Sure.
commercial, which is only a few minutes away. But what I'd love for you to do is share with us right now. I believe that a guided meditation is a conscious playground. Like for me, I kind of feel that way. Can you share with us like what happens in a guided meditation versus I don't want to call it a standard, but you know what I mean, like a standard meditation or like the difference?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. In a guided meditation, there is some form of instruction, and depending on, if you've been through some guided meditations in your life, you'll know that there are so many different types, and they're all different. They're of different lengths, and they have you focus on different things. Um, A really interesting thing about meditation is people tend to think of it as something that you do by yourself all the time. Well, and in one sense, that's true, because even in a guided meditation, even in a group meditation, you're the one meditating still. You may be doing it with other people, but you're the one meditating. However, in another sense, what is different, and for a lot of people this is a real qualitative difference, is the sense of connection to another person. Whether you're sitting actually in a group of people in a retreat setting or a yoga studio or something like that, practicing meditation, there's a community element to it. Same with a guided meditation. Even if you're just listening to it on an app or something, it's another human connection, and I think that brings a different element. I mean, it's a deal maker for a lot of people.
Yeah, I love them. Actually, I do really enjoy them because I allow somebody else to share with me what they're seeing or feeling, and then I get to have a response. So I kind of feel like I'm not doing all the work. I feel like I'm cheating and having fun, my goodness. But I love that. So I do know that what we'll do, as I said, I invited everybody to join us and that you would take us along like when you have a play date or you're going to camp and everybody meets at the park first, you gather and then you have not like an agenda, but maybe a time that you'll meet or a place that you're going to go or a game that you're going to do, an activity. And then you have that camaraderie, that thread of community. And like what you said, but you're still playing and learning and growing at your own pace, I'd say.
Yes. Yeah, most definitely. And there's no agenda required other than just meet at a certain place at a certain time. Right now.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So how about we do that? We will sneak away to commercials, and when we come back, Tomás is going to lead us in a guided meditation and bring us to our conscious playground where ideas and fun and solutions are just going to show up for you because we are interrupting your pattern of conflict or stuckness. Okay, so when we're back.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network.
Hi, this is David Strickle. I'm excited to share my brand new show, The Stream of David Live, right here on Om Times Radio. Each week I'll have exciting guests and I'll channel the eternal wisdom of the stream, a group of non-physical entities whose teachings have transformed lives all over the world. So join us for an uplifting hour each Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's The Stream of David Live right here on Om Times Radio.
Are you considering starting your own podcast? Do you have a book or other content you'd like to share with a worldwide audience? Give your book a voice. Hello, I'm Lisa Berry, host of Light on Living here on Om Times Radio. Myself and Tomás Garza, host of Decide to Transform, help people like you produce your very own radio show. At Podcast Prosperity, we help you create your show and recirculate your content for multimedia impact. Through creation and launch, we give you the support and mentorship you need and help you create the influence, income, and impact that you desire. Contact us at lightonliving.com, Podcast Prosperity.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
All right, who's dancing to that music? I know I've got my feet going. Welcome back, you guys, to Light on Living. I'm your host, Lisa Berry, and I am with a good friend, a partner, I don't know, psychic world traveler partner, Tomás Garza. and he is here to just help us, be in our conscious playground, to explore. And as I was kind of taking that commercial break to think about, I'm really excited to do this guided meditation because a couple things. I'm looking at the lake in front of me and I saw some geese. They were just touring along and I started following the geese as they were doing it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's kind of like a guided meditation. Just watching these little geese do their thing in the water. Tomás, I have to ask, is that kind of like a meditation as well? If you're
Yes, a meditation
watching?
can be anything. Yeah, that's part of the beauty of it is there's so many activities and things that we do in life that actually constitute a meditation. You bet.
I think that's really. I think what you've actually helped me already have an eye opener too. Haha, third eye opener. No, is when we follow like a game, like follow the leader. Yes, we're following a leader. However, we are still having that self experience in doing that, and you've just allowed me to truly get that. You know what? We meditate all the time in any different place, and it's not just one way. And it even can be in a group, like you said, or guided. And yeah, you've just made it very accessible to everyone, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the things that I aim to do. That's one of the reasons, I should say, but a big reason why I started teaching meditation in the first place was to make it accessible, because to some people there's this notion that it's something that is beyond them or beyond their capability. For whatever reason, there's still this belief, this general societal belief floating around out there that you have to take up robes and become a monk and move to the Himalayas in order to meditate. And another belief that I don't have time. Well, yeah, you do. We all do.
Yes. Oh, could you address this one? I can't sit still. I can't quiet my mind. I can't do this. Oh, can we please address that?
Yes, this is really, I'm glad you asked that. This is really, really an important point, is that this is something that I always tell people when I'm teaching meditation in any format, whether it's in person or online or guided, whatever it is. It's a successful meditation can be as short as one breath, literally. If you just sit still, or you can be standing, you can be anywhere, you could literally do anything. We all have time to take our next breath. You hope, right? Because if you're still breathing, then you have time for the next breath. And it can be very, very short. All you do is pay attention, place your mind, your awareness on one in and out breath. And that is actually, if you're able to do that, that's a successful meditation. And then that's actually our conscious playground, because you're taking your mind away from this wild stream of consciousness and the news and your news feed on social media and your to-do list and emails and phone calls and appointments and all of the things that come at us in life. And you create some really valuable space for yourself. It can be as short as one breath. So yes, if you're wondering out there, you do have time.
Yes, and you can. I love that. That was life-changing when I heard you say that. I used to be one of those people that said, "Oh, I just can't sit still." And it was just I almost got irritated by trying to do it, and I thought, well, yeah, because you're doing the extremes. And I really found that I love guided meditation, so it just helped guide me. I needed that guiding, so I am just I'm so inviting everybody right now, everybody listening. We are about to journey on a guided meditation led by Tomás Garza into our conscious playground. If you are ready, I am so ready.
All right. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay. So we'll make this, for those of you, because we're on the radio, often when I meditate, it's in silence by myself, and I watch everything come up. So this will be different, and I will be talking, so we don't have dead air. But in this meditation, what I want to invite you to do is, we'll be doing this for just a few minutes here, but my hope is that this will have some profound impact on you in terms of, well, awareness, yes, but allowing is the word that I'm searching for. Allowing yourself to travel, to transport yourself out of a daily mindset that may, for you, be a rut, that may be not serving you, that may be counterproductive, stressful. Just give yourself a break. So wherever you are, if you're seated, make yourself as comfortable as you can. You can do this standing up. You can do this anywhere that you are. But I want to invite you to close your eyes and just start paying attention to your breath, to your in breath. Feel the air entering your body, filling your lungs, expanding your chest cavity. And when you exhale, just notice. Notice the air leaving your body. And, of course, keep breathing. Keep doing this. And as you do, with your eyes closed, remember a time when you had fun. This could be this past Friday night, or maybe it was a time when you were a kid. What were you doing? Picture a time where you were having fun, and that was all that mattered, because that was all that existed, was that moment. Whether you were playing as a kid or dancing last Friday, maybe it was this morning. Just what did that feel like to be just at play? And picture that in your mind as clearly as you can. And as you continue to breathe in and out, stay in that feeling. What did this feel like? Sense of play, where that is the only thing that exists. And continue to breathe normally. And as we begin to exit this short guided meditation, I invite you to remember this feeling and take another cycle of breath to anchor this feeling for yourself, and to make sure that when you open your eyes and go about your life, that you can access this. And as you go about your day, see if in accessing this feeling of our conscious playground, which belongs to all of us, that you can shift your mood, that you can lighten yourself. And when you're ready, open your eyes and just relax and remember that feeling wherever you were. And tune in, please, to the rest of this radio show, where we're going to elaborate on this further. All right.
I love that moment, that whether it's like you said, a moment or a breath or an hour, where you can go elsewhere with without having to physically go anywhere.
Yes. Yes. That's one of the beauties of our imagination and our creative potential. And this is just one way that we can access this in a guided meditation.
Yes. The remembering, that word remember, how this felt, remember that feeling. Remember, I feel like, is that the anchoring? So when we're locking it in kind of thing, we're remembering, is that the anchoring?
Yes, there are many ways to stay in a feeling and anchor it. And with a meditation of this type, with this subject matter where you're picturing in your mind and doing the absolute best that you can to stay in a feeling of fun, in a feeling of joy, of playfulness, that's one way to anchor it, is just to stay with it as long as you can, which makes it easier to recall when you remember it, when you remember that you need it, I should say. Maybe later in the day, maybe next month, whenever it is.
Okay, so then I have to go in the opposite of that, which is fun, is let's say we had we went through an experience. Let's say it's today. Today we have the most amazing experience. Something really fun happened, and then we remember it, and then tomorrow we remember it, like, oh, yesterday was so fun. A week you're like, wow, last week it was really fun, and then a month later you're like, yeah, it was fun. And you can't remember it. What blocks our access? Why is it not as strong that we can remember it? We can't feel it and embody it as much.
We are all, yes, in life we're all distracted. It's just the simple fact of living on this planet that life comes at us. Our jobs come at us. A work schedule comes at us. If you have a family, then people have needs. And our minds and our attention is constantly pulled in many different directions. The television pulls us in different directions. Yes. The internet can pull us in different directions, and we just get pulled in so many different directions that it becomes really, really critically important for us to have some sort of anchor. And you can choose to look at this as an anchor. You can choose to look at it as a grounding, as some form of stabilization. But it's not like it's a physical, solid object. It can be a feeling, or like the one that we just tried to get back to. That can be a stabilizer or a grounding, something that we can turn our attention to. And it's very important to get us out of what could be a negative pattern. If we're having a really horrible day, if we're able to do something like we just did with this guided meditation, that can totally change the trajectory of that day.
Yes. Like, that was magical, what you just said. I wonder if people really get that. Like, if you some people can say, they can see the relevance there of, like, I got a rough start, like my morning just kicked off on the wrong foot and then boom. So it can get kicked off on the right foot. And I love that you said that can change the entire trajectory of your day. That day, that's your experience.
Yes. Yeah, that's part of the beauty of our experience that is often overlooked when we're overwhelmed and overrun and all of that, is that we get the opportunity every moment to change that trajectory. We can make that choice every moment of every day. That's one of the beauties of being alive, is that we can literally, with our minds, reorder our experience.
Reorder. That's cute. I like that. I heard that differently at first. I had that thought. A thought just like passed so fast there. I was going to say about symbols. Like sometimes people use the Om symbol, or, in Reiki they have all the symbols for the different attunements, I guess, their levels and things. Are symbols, I guess, used as anchors to a feeling or vibration? Or do they hold the vibration?
Yes, they can be. They most definitely can be. A symbol can be used to hold a vibration, something that you visualize. in your mind. It doesn't have to be a picture that you look at. For example, you could look at a picture of an ohm symbol. Let's just use that as an example to hold a vibration. You can also picture that in your mind and hold a vibration. You can use sound to hold a vibration. Taste, smell, any feeling, any sense that you have can be used to hold and to then anchor a vibration that is helpful, that lifts you up.
Okay, what is the difference between the essence of something and a vibration of something, if they are different? Everybody listening, I am now playing the game. Ask me a question, any question.
Yes.
I'm randomly throwing these at you.
This is great. You guys listening, this is what Lisa and I do. It's ask me a question, any question. And literally, there are no limitations on these questions. So I would say that the essence of something and its vibration are one and the same.
Ah, that's fun. Because I wonder if a lot of people get stuck on that word, the essence of something. What is that essence? It's the frequency. It's what it's putting out. What are you getting from it? And is it so if you want the essence of fun and you're just I don't know, then maybe something holds something like what you said, you know what, when we're little, we all have a favorite toy, right? Is that because of that? Is it a vibration it has, or that we are connecting a memory to?
Well, I would say as an adult, if we think about a favorite toy, I mean, maybe that's, if you're listening and you heard the guided meditation a few minutes ago, maybe that's what your mind landed on. It brings back memories of a time where we were perhaps more free than we feel right now. And the cool thing is that we all have access to that childlike freedom as adults. And of course, life and work and society tends to smother that and we tend to put it aside, but we have access to return to that is the right way for me to think of that, is returning to it.
Well, I'm going to use that word right now. And when we return from commercial break, we are going to visit that childlike freedom with Tomás Garza as we play in our conscious playground here on Light on Living.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
As I'm sure you know, it is time to celebrate self-discovery and personal growth. But you know, your efforts have to be consistent in order to stay balanced and to overcome depression and fears. So, what new books are available? How do you stay centered? Elizabeth Joyce and her guests will help you find out. That's Elizabeth Joyce on Let's Find Out, Mondays at 6 p.m. on Om Times Radio.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Oh, thank thanks for sticking around with us. This is really fun. I was just thinking how timeless fun is. And you are listening to Light on Living. And as we are visiting our conscious playground here with Tomás Garza, what was coming to mind over the commercial break there was timelessness, timeless, and that what I'm embracing, especially since I met Tomás, was that a whole experience can be had with every breath, within every single breath. And now I'm actually expanding that into every moment. Every moment is a full and complete experience. Every breath can be. And Tomás, I want to just, as we're talking about this and going into asking a question and wondering about the answer, not even having the answer, because sometimes I'll ask you a question and it's not like I'm asking you for an answer. How would you describe that? I'm asking you for your experience or input?
Yeah, all of the above, yes. Experience, input. It's just so much fun because for me it's fun to not have an agenda and not have the time, frankly, ahead of time. I love to be surprised with these questions because it's fun for me not to have any preconceived notions. So we're just, in other words, speaking. So I'm just speaking from my experience, from my point of view as it used to be and how that's changed, and it just opens up a lot of space for expansion and possibility to not have a preconceived notion, and that's an important point.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's the purest definition of sharing. When we expressing is one thing. You have almost like an agenda. I need to express this. But when we just share, it's just what comes up.
Yes. Yeah, it's all of the feelings. It comes from experience. It can come from the heart. It's very authentic.
Yes, and curiosity. I'm sitting here thinking, there are so many people that I'm hoping they do have somebody, but if somebody didn't have somebody else to share with, to play with, how can we share with our inner being? How can we share with ourselves and go to our own conscious playground and have playmates there?
Yeah, that's a really good question, especially these days where there are a lot of people that are feeling isolated and alone. And yes, of course, we can reach out to other people, and whether this is something that you're doing in person now, as certain parts of the world come out of a quarantine or stay-at-home situation, maybe it's virtually, maybe it's both. There are ways that you can connect to yourself in this way, and I would invite everyone to really do some thinking, some feeling deeply about what it is that you really love. And if you can't think of anything right now, that's okay. Do the meditation that we did earlier on the show and go back to a time where you felt that and stay in that feeling. And you don't have to have all of the answers. This is in essence what we're saying with our conscious playground, is you don't have to have the answers, just the questioning itself, the holding of the question, the holding of that creative space can be, in and of itself, the journey and, in fact, the answer, which will come if you're in that space.
I like that. Holding the question itself is sometimes, it's what brings about clarity or creativity. Some of the questions, just to give an example to the listeners here, some of the questions I've literally reached out and said, hey, Thomas, and ask me a question, any question, and I'll go right into, how would you describe projection? Projecting, our feelings onto others or others onto us. And then I'll go into, hey, do you believe in time collapsing? And so, yes. We've had some fun ones, but I would like to have you share a little bit about time collapsing, because we really are talking about how everything can be done in a breath and in a moment or in an hour or a lifetime. Can you share about time collapsing? Yeah, in general, and as deep as you want.
Okay, well, thank you. Again, we only have 12 more minutes. All
I
right.
know.
Well, I won't leave a 12-minute answer on this one, but with time, we just experienced it. If you've been listening to this entire show, we just experienced it with the guided meditation. We experienced you sitting here on the 15th of June, and if you're in another part of the world where it's like Australia, where it's the 16th, okay, there's a date, a calendar date that we've all agreed to observe, whatever that means, actually. And here we are, sitting here right now, today, whatever time of day this is, and if you're going to be listening to the replay, that you could be listening to this months from now, wherever you are right now, do that meditation that we've done earlier, and then boom, you could be 8, you could be 9, you could be 6, you could be a child, or if you had a lot of fun and can immediately recall that and relate to that, and it was last weekend, then that is being in a different time. You're actually there.
Yes.
In the mind, there are no barriers other than the ones that we artificially impose, but we can easily eliminate them. One of the ways that play can eliminate barriers, and these are not necessarily physical barriers. These are emotional, spiritual, psychological barriers to happiness, to creativity. You could see it as a barrier to living the life that you want or your calling, something like that. You can literally break it down and transport yourself. Many ways you can do this. Meditation is just one. You could have a glass of wine, for example, and that taste will transport you to Europe. And you're there in your mind. You think of it, you're there. Could have been a different time in your life, but you're still there right now. And the only time that really exists is the present moment. And then you can use other experiences to influence the present moment and to help you make different choices right now, because you don't make choices then, because the past is gone. You make them right now.
I have to say something. You know what? What's coming to mind right now? So, this is so wow. People do this often, and I'm going to say this: we do it so much more easily or aware of it when we're doing the negative. It's like we think back to a painful moment or a breakup or when our parents did something we didn't like or an experience. So we transport ourselves oftentimes to a story, right? Like good or bad. Or if we are in the middle of a horrible feeling and we're like, whoa, I don't want to be here. And we go elsewhere in our mind, like to imagine being elsewhere. So we do transport ourselves. We collapse time and space and transport ourselves. I love that you use that word. And I love that we're introducing a new location for people to transport themselves to, which is our conscious playground, which is their playground and yours and mine. And is it possible in time collapsing that, so, I have a sip of wine, I'm off to Europe. Is anybody else with me, or is it always just me, or can somebody else join you?
Oh, yeah, everybody can join all of us. Quick, fundamental core spiritual level, there are no differences of any kind. None, including individuals. So if you're in Europe transported with a really, really nice glass of wine, for example, other people can and do join in with you. And here's the cool thing. They don't have to be aware of it. I mean, it's fun if they do, and they are aware of it, but they don't have to be aware of it. It's literally a unitary experience that is on the most fundamental level. Now, on the level of the world, relative truth, right, as opposed to absolute truth. I won't go into the full mechanics or explanation of that, but if you're familiar with that concept, here in the world we appear to be having different experiences. Still, other people may join, and what they can relate to, this is an interesting point, is what they can relate to is the feeling. We can relate to the feeling of that experience. We don't have to actually be sipping the wine or tasting the wine, because maybe somebody wasn't there, but maybe you're speaking to them right now and talking to them about it, they can be there with you by sharing in that experience.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny. I have a really, really dear friend, one of my best friends, and I don't see her much, but she'll go out and go shopping, and she'll buy something, and she just loves it. And before the days of, we can take a picture and send it, she would describe every detail and where she found it and the feeling she had. And then when I would finally go visit her and see the piece, I already felt like I saw it. I didn't even need to see it, it was that collapsing of all space and time where we do that. And I think, do you think that's part of sharing? Like, if we could share with that, tell us, like right now, how you feel. What is a way that right now all of us in the whole world, no matter where we are, what could we do, and how could we get into our playground and utilize this best to really uplift and feel better and change our world to closer to the vision that we like to have and experience? What was your advice or guidance on this?
Okay. Well, all right. I love this. Let me just say that. I love this. This is fun. I would suggest to anybody that you continue to do your own inner work, whatever that is. Now, that might be something that's bringing up a lot of stuff. You can insert a different word for stuff if you want. That's bringing up a lot for you right now, or it could be really blissful. And you may know that it's a fluctuation, but I would continue to do that inner work because we're all vibrational. We are all, something that I also love to say is that we're all teaching each other all the time with our presence, with how we literally show up in a situation. We are showing people, we're teaching them. And we're also learning. Each and every one of us is both a teacher and a learner all at the same time because we're absorbing people's vibrations. Of course, it's not just what we say. It's the energy, it's the feeling, it's someone's whole vibe or aura, whatever term you wish to use. We're all communicating with each other all the time. So what we each as individuals owes to everyone else is to be our best possible, our level best possible self at any moment. And there are many ways, of course, to do that and to access that. But that's really what is important, is that we continue to work on ourselves so that we're communicating something higher, something more fun, more vibrant, something better and more serving than we may have been even a moment ago.
And on that, if we do, I don't want to say catch ourselves, but if we become aware and we can really recognize that our vibration is not quite like on the weekend, I got a little snippy and I went, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm just a little snippy. And I had my reasons. Do we just do that, like kind of acknowledge and pull back, or maybe we're supposed to be like, how can we recognize and do something different? Are we supposed to?
I think that one of the things that we really need to do for ourselves is give ourselves some grace, because we're going to fall down, we're going to make mistakes, and if you made a bad choice 15 minutes ago, okay, you have another moment right now where you can make a different choice. Choose differently. Okay, no problem. Right. So giving ourselves some grace, because we are absolutely our own worst critic, and I think I speak for just pretty much everyone that's breathing right now on that. That's near universal. But what we can do is, we can always, moment to moment, change the way we look at things and shift and change the way we feel about them, and giving ourselves grace that hey, I made a mistake. Let's let that go, learn from it, make a different choice right now. That's really, really important. And people may not feel like that's immediately accessible, but that is one of the reasons why it's so important that we have all of this variety, this plethora of different ways where a person can approach spirituality and personal growth from the angle that's going to resonate with them. And we're even more fortunate here in the 21st century to have literally everything at our disposal.
We sure do. And actually, on that note, I'd like to say that any of you can hop over onto the Academy of Universal Self-Mastery so that you can play with us there, both Tomás Garza and myself, Lisa Berry. We invite you there because you know what? What I'm getting the most is, Tomás, is that breathing is like one of the most fun games that we can do on the planet right now. and I want to thank you so much for being here with me in our conscious playground and helping all of us go and play there as well. Thank you.
You're most welcome. This has been a lot of fun and a pleasure.
Oh, yay. All right, everybody, you've been listening to Light on Living. Join us over, like seriously, you're invited. Come on over and play with us at the Academy of Universal Self-Mastery. You can find either one of us on our Facebook page, Tomás Garza or Lisa Berry, or you can just scooch on over to Tomás's website, which is tomasgarza.com. We'll see you guys next Monday. Thank you so much, and go enjoy, go play in your conscious playground. Bye, everyone. Bye, Tomás.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
Eggs for breakfast becoming a yawn? Wake them up with Cholula. For a flavor that'll have you running laps around your living room. Woohoo! Cholula hot sauce, the best thing ever to happen to eggs. Choose Cholula.